We did hear one naysayer say the mid-ocean trench is blocked in Iceland, but this again is simply not true. The below images show a continuous ridge which splits the entire island of Iceland, even through its own lake. The mid-ocean ridge does in fact continue, which is proven by science. In describing the river from Eden, Genesis 2:10 says, "And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted, and became into 4 heads." Here is the mid-ocean ridge, which again has a deep rift river through its entire 40,000 miles around the entire earth. We believe it is the ancient river that flowed from Eden. And look, there are 4 main heads to this river. Scholars who make the assumption that this river is somehow near Israel are making leaps that are not supported by the Bible, including the Tigris and Euphrates, which are mistranslations of the original Hebrew rivers Hiddekel and Parat. It doesn't say Tigris and Euphrates. Those words don't exist in the original. The Bible does not actually say Tigris or Euphrates, and this leads us down the wrong path, which is what it is intended to do. See the 4 heads we have numbered, and note the Eden River, the mid-ocean ridge, flows through the earth from basically the North Pole all the way down and all the way around under Australia and up all the way to Mexico. Wait a minute. If this were true, the Eden River must follow the normal laws of river systems, which means it must flow downhill. Is this possible? Well, here are the average depths of the ocean floor according to NOAA. The Atlantic Ocean gets deeper than the Arctic Ocean. The Indian Ocean is yet deeper, and the Pacific Ocean is even deeper. In other words, the Eden River mid-ocean ridge is actually flowing downhill from one ocean to the next. It begins just below the North Pole and continues down and around to the Pacific. It fits. This means Eden's location would be in the North Pole. Not the garden, but Eden. The Garden of Eden is actually east of Eden, and we are unsure where exactly that might be. Genesis continues to describe the 4 river heads. Genesis 2:11 and 12. The name of the first is Pison. We've talked about that. That is it which compasseth, surrounds, the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. Notice the blue path we have drawn, which flows from the Eden River, mid-ocean ridge, from Mexico, up the west coast of the U.S., California, to Canada, to Alaska, over to Russia, down to Japan, and look, it splits at the Philippines, just below Taiwan. It goes around and comes back together in portions of Indonesia. This fits the definition of the Pison River, and imagine this is actually a series of trenches from the oceanic trench system. We already discussed that Philippines is Ophir, Sheba, Tarshish, and Havilah. We reviewed the 2 scriptures earlier referencing that the gold of Uphaz, in harmony with Tarshish and Ophir, is the gold of the Pison River. So what we know is that this river surrounds the whole land of Havilah, where there is good gold, pearl, and onyx stone. We have proven that that is the Philippines. And look, it surrounds The Philippines. This is the only river defined by its resources. Why? Remember, Adam and Eve knew this. There was no portion of the earth in which he was not aware and given dominion. To assume he stayed in a small spot and never left is just not supported by Scripture. Human nature nor the responsibility that accompanies the authority God gave him over the entire earth. Let's look at an even closer view of the ocean floor in this area we are calling Havilah. Well, science does it again. They tell us there are 7 oceans, but there is really only one continuous world ocean. They tell us the mid-ocean ridge has 7 or more names, yet it's actually still just one continuous system. But when we get to the trenches, wow, they go crazy. Don't be overwhelmed by all these names. They don't matter. What matters is that these trenches virtually run together, exposing the ancient river system. Forget that they call them trenches of different names and look at the actual ocean floor. It tells the story. It is one continuous system. By the way, the deepest modern river is the Congo River in Africa, which is only 720 feet deep. The trench system is 2 miles deep. The river from Eden is 1.5 miles deep. The Eden River would have flowed downhill from Arctic to Atlantic to Indian to the Pacific Oceans, each deeper than the other. Additionally, the river from Eden would have continued to flow downhill, as science tells us would be the case if it's a river, into the 4 rivers, which are even deeper at 1.9 to 2.5 miles deep, which is the average depth of the oceanic trenches, as opposed to the 1.5 mile depth of the Eden River mid-ocean ridge system. All of these facts come from the very scientist who will likely deny our theory as impossible. Again, you must prove all things for yourself. What makes sense to you? Remember again, water flows downhill. Notice even the trenches themselves show greater and greater depths in the direction in which the Pison River flows. What a coincidence that the deepest trenches are the ones at the end of the ancient river system. But